going on? I'm Alex, and in this video, I'm going to be going through 5 tips on how I graduated with a 4.0 GPA throughout all my years in college. So I went to Drexel University in Philadelphia, and I went through their 5-year BSMS program with 3 co-ops. I majored in computer engineering and minored in computer science. So it was a very demanding curriculum, and it's an achievement that I am very proud of. And let's get right into it. So tip number 1, you want to make sure you're studying something you're very interested in or passionate about, because it makes it a lot easier to spend those very long hours doing homework or studying for an exam when you're studying something that you're just generally interested in. Tip number 2, you really need to find what makes you tick and why you are studying what you are, and that goes into finding what keeps you motivated to keep going. And it has to be something pretty personal and kind of like who you are, whether you want to have a high GPA because you're very competitive and you just want to score higher than your peers, or whether you want that high GPA for a grad school admission or getting that job interview you wanted, because GPA is definitely considered during those processes, and it's a big factor whether or not you get those interviews. So yeah, it definitely has to be something more than just trying to impress your parents with your high GPA. So tip number 3 is you definitely have to be organized, and that is an effort in itself. I highly recommend having an agenda book and writing down what assignments you have and the due dates, and staying on top of that pretty much at all hours of the day. When I was in school, I pretty much consulted my agenda book at least 5-6 times just to make sure that I know what I should be doing and when I should be doing it, to make sure things are getting done on time. And not only that, it also helps you prioritize. So when you know when things are due, you can kind of schedule yourself in terms of which homework you should be working on or what class you should be studying for. I tended not to be able to do one topic for long periods of time, so I can go through my agenda book and see which classes I have work for, and kind of like, just switch through them, work a few hours on one, and then switch and work a few hours on the other. And if I'm taking all class I'm interested in, then it's still kind of fun to do. Tip number 4 is definitely you have to stay healthy, physically and mentally. So definitely work out, whether that's 2 to 3 to 4 times a week. Just make sure you're getting in the gym and working on your body, and also eating very healthy. Well, you don't have to eat that healthy, but making sure you get your nutrition. And further, you really want to stay mentally healthy, because you're going to be pounded by stress after stress. So the last tip is to make sure you are taking notes that's best effective for you. So that's something you kind of have to experiment with yourself, whether you're more of a visual learner, or whether you are very good at learning from reading books, or you really need to be in class and learning from the professor. So what worked for me is that I attended every single one of my classes. I pretty much wrote down in my notebook everything that my professor would write on the board, or if they were teaching from lecture slides, I would get as much down as possible from those slides, and also reviewing those notes directly after class and making sure that I wasn't missing anything, or if there's something that I was confused about, I could bring up those questions during the next class or after class. The whole point is just repetition, getting the first exposure in class, and then getting that repetition after class, and making sure you're doing homeworks pretty much as soon as you get them. So that gives you enough time, so if you're stuck on a homework problem, you can consult with your peers, or bring it up in class, or ask your professor, and just making sure that you're learning the material that the professor's putting out there. And in terms of studying for tests, it's pretty much you're studying along the way, so that you're not surprised during the middle of the term you have a test or a midterm and you're cramming all the day before. That's something you really want to avoid, and so you really want to be thinking about those tests pretty much from day one and preparing for them. Pretty much doing homework and studying leads you to do well in those tests. And in terms of projects, you can try your best to partner up with other classmates that also care about their grade and care about the class and are very diligent, hard workers as well. But a lot of the times that's out of your control, and the only thing you can control is your own effort. And so there's been a lot of cases where I've done school projects or something, and I would end up doing the whole project myself. It's not really something that I complained about because, generally, back at tip number 1, I was studying something that I'm very interested in and really wanted to master. And so I had no issues with pretty much doing all of the work. I saw it as an opportunity to learn all of the material and not miss anything. So yeah, it's just all of your own effort. So those are my 5 tips, guys, and I hope you can find some that you can apply to your own school life and improve your GPA. If you guys have any more questions or wanted for me to expand on something, just definitely leave a comment. I would also love to hear if these tips have helped you over time. So if you guys found this video helpful, make sure you leave a like and subscribe, as I will be posting more videos on educational and life topics. I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and see you in the next video.